Hello and welcome to another Instructor Hangout with Rick and Ben. Hello, Ben. How are you today?
Awesome, Rick. How are you doing, buddy?
I am very excellent as well. Thank you. A couple of things we wanted to go through first, and then we've got our big topic. We're going to be talking about namespaces. First couple of things. I've seen a lot of people in the Q&A section recently helping other people answer their technical challenges. And I forget where I saw it, but someone was saying this is a really great way to learn. And they're very active in there because they like to help other people, but learn as well. Just a tip, if you want to make your skills, like really enhance your skills, jump into the Q&A, see if you can figure out what's going on with other people's code. That's a really good way for you to learn and cement those things that you've been learning in the course. Just a little tip for you on that one there.
Absolutely. You really have to think about it from a different perspective when you're trying to help somebody else out. So good tip, Rick.
Totally. Thank you, Ben. And I can't take full credit. I stole that from someone in the community, raised that as a tip. Also, I had a very direct question for you watching right now in terms of the challenges. I haven't had a lot of feedback on the challenges up until this point in terms of, are they too easy, too hard, or just right? Do you understand what's going on with them? So against this video, as with all the videos, there's a button which will lead you to, or a link that will lead you to our community site. If you can go into there or in the Q&A section, just let us know what you think about the challenges. Are they okay? Are they too easy? Are they too hard? In particular, if you have a challenge so far that you thought was perfect, then we know what you think is the perfect sort of challenge. That would make a huge difference to us. That'd be very excellent. And awesome. I think next topic, so that's banging through these topics. That's two topics. Here we go, Ben, your chance to say some words. If you have on your screen, I believe, showing some of the screenshots that people have been sharing from NWUI, not as many as the Text 101. You guys were super duper active with Text 101 with lots of great sharing, coming up with some great screens and looking things.
It's awesome variety here. Thank you, Rick, for including me with a wizard hat on. I look fantastic there, of course.
Excellent. I can't see what you're sharing at the moment, but
so I'm just scrolling through them, Rick. That's all.
Yep, there's a handful in there. So I know sometimes you think, well, I won't bother to share, but it really helps, I think, for your own flow and your own progress to put something out there and have people look at it and not be too precious about it. That's how you get better at these things as well. It's a little bit of the theme of this conversation. And now for the big thing I want to talk about. Sorry to interrupt, Ben. The big thing I want to talk about is to do with namespaces. We haven't talked about it a lot. We've touched on it a little bit. You need to use this namespace because it gives you access to particular classes or methods. I wanted to throw it over to you, Ben, just to give us a deeper understanding of namespaces, to demystify it a little bit in terms of
what's going on. Yeah, okay. So it's just including other people's code. It's as easy as that. So where you say using namespace Unity engine, that gives you access to all sorts of things, like the concept of a mono behavior, or the concept of a game object, or the concept of most of the stuff you type. If you just comment out that line using Unity engine, you'll soon see Visual Studio will show you all the things that it doesn't understand if it doesn't have access to that namespace. So a namespace is a collection of classes. It's a collection of things like your rigid bodies and your sprites and all the other stuff you've been messing around with. You can think of using namespaces a bit like Dropbox and Selective Sync, for instance. So they're folders is one way of looking at it. It's like, why do you use folders on your computer? Well, we have all our courses, you know, RPG and then Unity and then Unreal. And in there, we might have the images folder. Images, images, images again and again. And we don't get a clash between Unity images and Unreal images because they're in different folders. They're still images, but they're in different folders. So it lets you have two methods, like onCollisionEnter, in both a Unity namespace and maybe somewhere else. Or ran for random. It could be Unity's random, or it could be mathf.rand, or it could be unityengine.random, for example. So it allows you to use the same name in multiple places, so like folders do. It also allows you to selective sync in Dropbox terms, which is to say, I only want this library available, this Unity engine library, this maths library, this whatever. I don't need the rest of it. And the third thing it does is segregate conceptually these different things. So in the RPG course, a more advanced Unity course that we have, we focus on using namespaces ourselves. We create our own namespaces like combat and weapons and stuff like that, so that one piece of our code cannot accidentally talk to another bit without us thinking about it carefully first. We can't just have a player talking to the camera, for example, or talking to some other part of the game, unless we say using namespace rpg.camera or rpg.player. So three things in recap. Number one, lets you rename class names and method names. It allows you to selectively choose what you're going to import and what you're not, import other people's libraries. And number three, as I just said, it allows you to purposefully segregate your code.
So most of the namespaces we're using in Unity, or most of the content from those extra namespaces we go to, every now and again, we'll go to the scene management namespace or the UI namespace. That was all created by the good folks at Unity. Yes, that's the Unity namespace, their particular classes and methods. That's not C#. So if we're out of Unity and we're into just working straight up in C# in another area or not in an engine, how do we know then what it is that we'll still be able to use?
Or just comment out using anything that starts using Unity Engine or using Unity Engine dot. By the way, dot is just a subfolder. So using Unity Engine gives you the top level, the root of the Unity Engine folder, if you like. Using Unity Engine .ui uses stuff in the UI folder and so on. It doesn't recurse down. So using Unity Engine doesn't pick up UI that's underneath it. You have to explicitly use each one. If you do a double / a comment in front of everything that says that starts using Unity Engine, then the code that won't run is the stuff that's using Unity Engine stuff. Using system.collections or system that you'll see at the top as well, that is C# stuff. So,
yep. And within the namespaces, would you say that it's classes and methods and parameters? Like this is what is contained within those namespaces.
Yeah,
is there anything that we haven't? Any kind of magical tools that are in a namespace that we haven't seen?
I'm going to grab a book. Give me a second. We might cut this. We can cut this bit out.
I don't think we will cut this. I think we'll leave it in, and people will be wondering, where's Ben going? Well, he saw a squirrel. He's off having a look at it. He's like, there's a pretty squirrel.
Wandered off. I've actually got the answer right here, just to be slightly more complete with it. About what else can be in a namespace. I think we are going to need to cut this down, Rick.
Okay, can do.
It's basically all just type declarations. So have they done enums and structs and stuff yet? Not structs, enums?
No.
Haven't even done enums?
No.
No? Not in Text 101, I guess they haven't. Okay, so we're just going to this. So the other things that can be in namespaces, it's mainly classes. You could also have in there things like enums and structs, but we haven't met those yet in the course. So for these purposes, it's really a way of for this stage, it's a way of grouping classes together. And the thing that really that you need to think about is if, for instance, you get to a point in the course where you want to access a text element, like text, the type text with a capital T, that is in the Unity Engine .ui namespace, for example, so you need to have that namespace imported for you to even be able to recognize the type texts.
Yep. And what I've seen a lot of is that it avoids us having conflict. And you said this in the points you were saying before. If we say we're only able to use these particular things, then we know those things work well together and we're not accidentally using something else or conflicting with something else. So it's flicking the switch, and there's, I don't know how many namespaces. I haven't looked into this. Would there be dozens, hundreds of namespaces in Unity? But lots and lots of them.
Of the order of 100, yeah, more than dozens.
Okay. More than dozens, in order of 100. And within each of those, there's anywhere from a handful to dozens and dozens of classes and methods within each of those namespaces. So there's a lot of content, and it'd be a little bit of drinking from the fire hose, I think, if we could access all of those straight away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Okay, excellent. Just one last one on that. You mentioned the word libraries. I've seen online people talking about what's the difference between a namespace and a library. Conceptually, they seem pretty similar. Is there anything we need to know at this stage about namespaces?
Not really at this
libraries? It's not really important.
Stage, no, I wouldn't get confused about it. A library is something where you're using somebody else's code and you're calling out to that code. They're often namespaced. They're independent concepts, really, but you can namespace within a library. You can have multiple namespaces in one library. You could potentially have multiple libraries all under the same namespace or sharing a namespace. So they're not necessarily related. Namespacing is about folders. Libraries are about going in, getting a whole new program installed on your machine that you could got access to. So yeah, we're just using built-in libraries in Unity for the moment.
Fantastic. Cool. Thanks for that, Ben. Thanks for your expert wisdom insights. Appreciate it.
No
And
worries.
that's good, I think, for this Instructor Hangout. Anything else from you?
Nope, that's it. Enjoy the course, guys. Hope you're enjoying Rick's instruction, and I'll see you in the next one.